Okay. Well, thank you everyone for being here. And I'd like to start off with a question real quick. How many of you had a New Year's resolution last year? Okay. Now, out of those resolutions, how many of those were health related in any way? Okay. Well, last year, 44% of Americans had a New Year's resolution. Out of those 44%, 40% were health related. So people wanted to lose weight, people wanted to eat better, or people just wanted to try something else, a different sport or something like that. And so that was just last year. And one of the trending things, health related things last year was clean eating and the whole clean eating diet and that whole concept. But what exactly is clean eating? So clean eating is actually not a fad diet. Clean eating is more of a lifestyle that one can follow. And so what it involves leaving out, eliminating processed foods and foods that have additives in them. And also, it means eating whole and refined foods. So for example, if you went to the grocery store, you would go and find food items that have the least amount of ingredients in them. And so a lot of people that follow clean eating guidelines go to the store and don't buy any items that have more than 5 or 7 ingredients in them. And so this is something that has grown in popularity, and a lot of people are starting to follow it. And there are even prominent people such as celebrities such as Halle Berry or Nicole Kidman and Angelina Jolie who have followed clean eating and have experienced positive results from it. And so what benefits come from clean eating exactly? And so the first benefit is that you can actually have more energy throughout the day. And it's because of the B complex vitamins that you are able to have more energy throughout the day. And these help regulate blood sugar. And through different activities and different meals throughout the day, your blood sugar spikes up or it drops. But if you have iron, if you're eating foods with iron and B complex vitamins, your blood sugar is able to regulate and maintain a steady level throughout the whole day. And so that's something that is very beneficial because you don't feel tired and you're able to go throughout your day feeling energized and just feeling good. And the second benefit from clean eating is that it actually helps with your cardiovascular health. And the way it does is vitamin C is found in a lot of different fruits and vegetables, and this vitamin C helps strengthen the blood vessels and it strengthens the heart. And it also helps against coronary heart disease, against strokes, and against high blood pressure. And it also brings down negative, the harmful cholesterol levels. And there are foods such as nuts or avocado that have helpful fats. And if you're clean eating, you would be incorporating those kinds of foods into your diet, and which would actually help bring up the good cholesterol. The third benefit of clean eating is that it actually helps prevent cancer. And through its processed food rich diets puts one at a higher risk of developing cancer. And clean eating includes phytonutrients that actually help fight off cancer. So it's phytonutrients and antioxidants that help fight off cancer cells. And this was research done through the Colorado State University Extension. And there are certain foods such as broccoli and kale, which has become very popular, and tomatoes that actually help, that have phytonutrients and antioxidants that help fight off cancer. The fourth benefit that comes from clean eating is that it helps you, it supports mental health. And this is something that's very important, and it's through vitamin B6 that makes dopamine, and it's a hormone that makes you feel good. And also through omega-3 fatty acids that help avoid moodiness, and it also brings down depression. And so these are some very helpful nutrients and vitamins that are found in foods, but if you are eating processed foods, sometimes those nutrients and vitamins are taken out. And if you're eating wholesome foods, you will be able to have, the full strength of these nutrients and vitamins. And also limiting caffeine is something that is important when you're clean eating, because limiting caffeine helps bring down anxiety and stress, and it helps with mental health. And the fifth benefit of clean eating is that it actually helps with weight management. And I think this is probably the biggest reason why people are turning to clean eating is because of the help it gives with maintaining a healthy or desired weight. And it's something that helps you stay fuller longer. And that's because if you're eating wholesome foods, your body is taking all those nutrients and you're able to stay fuller longer without eating as much junk food to be able to have all those nutrients that you would be able to have in one meal of like a good wholesome meal. And so those are the 5 main benefits that come from clean eating. And there's a lot more things, I mean a lot more benefits that could come from it, but those are the top 5. But I mean these benefits are great, but how can you start incorporating clean eating into your own life? You know, how are you going to go about it? And so I'm not asking you to go home and clean out your fridge, clean out your pantry, and throw out all those processed food items and go get all these clean foods, you know, from the grocery store. It's just a simple process, and you know, you go about it step by step. You go about baby steps, and you go and you get different items slowly. And there is probably the hardest part mentioned by people who clean eat when they start is, how do I come up with a meal plan? I have no idea. I have no idea which foods I can use, or how I will be able to use those foods together in a meal. And so meal planning is probably one of the most difficult things at the start. And there are websites, a lot of different websites, that provide different examples of meal plans according to what people like, or you know, what they like to eat. And so there's different websites or different blogs, and there's definitely a lot of help out on the internet, especially from people that already try it and people who are experts on it. And so here we have just a sample, a 1 day, like the first week 1, day 1 example of a recipe. And so it's just a breakfast recipe, and it's called breakfast banana splits, and it's something really simple. It has 5 ingredients in it, and the ingredients are banana, cottage cheese, salt, nuts, and strawberry jam. And pretty much what it is, you're putting it together as if you were doing a regular banana split, but it's a lot healthier. And it has different servings, and so you could either, you know, invite somebody, one of your friends or family, to start clean eating with you, or you could save these meals and use them throughout the week. And so it's something very helpful. And sometimes like these meals seem like they're really big, but it's also important to meal plan, because if you're planning ahead, you know what you're eating. You know what's coming, and you're not tempted to eat other foods that aren't clean. And so that's something very, very important. And another important thing is that you need to stay motivated if you're trying out something new, especially trying to switch up your whole lifestyle, like with dealing with food. And so motivation is important. And I want to ask you guys to think of something that motivates you. You know, what is like your biggest motivation right now? And what foods do you like? And what foods would you have trouble giving up that maybe aren't considered clean? And so after you think about that, is you really need to have motivation to be able to throw those foods that aren't very good. You need to throw them out, or maybe adapt them in a different way so that they are better for you. And so there's a quote by Jim Ryan that says, motivation is what gets you started, but then habit is actually what gets you going, what keeps you going. And so motivation is important because that's what helps you get to that point of, you know, I need to do this, and I'm going to do it. And then once you've been motivated enough, it becomes a habit. You want to do it, and you want to keep living that way, and that's the important thing. Having enough motivation to create it into a habit, and then it doesn't become a burden, and it's not a hassle just to eat healthy, which can be a challenge right off when you start. And so really, it's just all about motivation, and it doesn't matter how old you are, you can be motivated, whether you're 20 or whether you're 50, just like William, who quoted and said, at 50 years old, it has made me feel like I'm 20 again. And so this man, he was talking to his trainer, which had put him through a whole like exercise routine, but on top of that, had incorporated clean eating into the method. And so he felt a lot younger because he was exercising well and because he was clean eating. And I have a friend, her name is Jessica, and it's always really interesting because she's super like into like healthy stuff, and she's always posting like on Instagram and different social media like things she's eating or different things she's trying out to be able to stay healthy. And she's always posting things, and one of the things that stood out to me is that she said, you can't outwork a bad diet. And so it doesn't matter how hard you're working out, if you're not eating well, it's really not going to work out for you. On the other hand, if you're clean eating, and then on top of that you are exercising, that is going to be super beneficial for you. You're going to see great results. You're going to feel a whole lot better. And so You just got to find motivation to do it, and after that, you are going to develop a healthier lifestyle. And being healthy is important, and it's always something that has been emphasized by different doctors or different health experts, for a long, long time. And just from trying clean eating, you would gain an experience of knowing what it's like. What does clean eating feel like? Or do I like it or do I not? And it's just important to do it because you have nothing to lose. If you don't like it, you can always go back to not eating clean, or eating whatever things you really like that maybe weren't part of the clean eating diet. And that's just important because it will help you develop a healthier lifestyle. And just to kind of give you a personal experience from that, I do not clean eat every single meal, but I've tried it for the last 3 weeks to replace one meal a day. Just try one meal and see how that works out. And so for school, I actually have to commute back and forth, like an hour and a half. And I noticed that I would always eat before I drove, and I was always sleeping on the road and just kind of like dozing off a little bit. But when I started clean eating, I noticed that I was awake. And after a while, I noticed it, and I was like, well, that is really making a difference. That one meal actually kept me awake, and I had energy, and I was just like up the whole day, and I was up and going, and it was awesome. And so I know it really works. I know that clean eating is something that can be beneficial, but you have to try it in order to know that it does work. It's there for you, and I want you to try it. And I want you to try it, at least once a day. Maybe replace one meal, replace one snack. And after that, build it up, maybe 2, and maybe you start clean eating every meal for that day. And I want you to try it, and while you're doing that, I just want you to remember to eat green, but remember to always eat clean.